Working a 9 to 5 can definitely get, it's a trap, sis. Blink twice if you need some help. Let me know. Blink. Are you blinking? Are you blinking? Like, how do you feel? You good in there? I'm just asking. You're clocking in, you're clocking out, and you're doing everybody else's job, and you feel drained by the time you leave your job. You don't have time for yourself, let alone starting a side business, side hustle, or even a passion project that you really believe in. But here's the thing. What if your 9 to 5 is not the enemy like we thought it was? Like, what if it was all a lie? What if instead of seeing the 9 to 5 as the the opposition, we started to see our 9 to 5 and reframe that thinking that our 9 to 5 could be our greatest asset, basically our first investor or our financial safety net, or perhaps your first training ground for success. Like, it's all about how you think about it. Most people talk about escaping the 9 to 5 like it's some sort of prison, myself included, because it definitely feels like we're doing a bid for 20, 30 years, and we don't even know if we're gonna get a return on our investment based on the socio-political atmosphere that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But even still, plenty of people are able to use their 9 to 5s and channel that energy of the 9 to 5 into something more constructive, like a side project, or even just funding their dream without the unnecessary struggle, stress, or my favorite, recklessly quitting the job. In this video, I'm gonna give you some mindset shifts to change the way you see your 9 to 5. Hopefully these shifts will help you to stop feeling stuck, start feeling in control, and actually use your job to fuel your dreams instead of drain them. But before we get into the video, if you're new here, my name is Lillian. I like to cover all things self-improvement, self-love, mindfulness, and a little bit of spirituality. If that's your vibe, I would love for you to stick around. Girl, for years, I have had a toxic relationship with work. I'm gonna be honest with you really quick. I have never really had like a dream job, like a traditional dream job. You know what I mean? I believe at one point I wanted to be on America's Next Top Model. I wanted to be a radio, TV, and film person. That's what I wanted to do. That's actually what I went to school for. And then we somehow ended up being a teacher and then a librarian. In all of my jobs before I started working professionally in education, I never kept a job longer than 6 months. So being a teacher, was the first time that I was able to keep a job for a long time. I was always quitting my job. Girl, 3 months in, I already seen what I need to see. 6 months in, I'm looking for another job. I had W-2s coming from everywhere. It does not take me very long to see the operation of whatever is going on. Like, most people go to work and they need that. They need to be at work. They thrive on the working environment, but I just never, that was never my thing. I think stay-at-home dog mom. That's a new one. That's a new one I just came up with, girl. I never wanted to be clocking in and clocking out. When I was in high school or middle school, I didn't have a part, my mom instilled in me education. If you want part-time money, you need to figure out a way to be innovative. I was the candy lady. I was a neighborhood candy lady. Girl, I would go with my grandmother to antique sales, right? My grandmother hit me to the game. We would go to antique sales, estate sales, and I would sell that stuff on eBay. That was my thing, okay? Business, marketing, and all that stuff. It came naturally to me, but working for someone, I don't know, it's very hard. I've always had an issue with authority and just following other people's rules and different things like that. I'll always figure out the rules and figure out how I could circumvent. I was never on time for anything, never on time for a job, never. Girl, this is the first time in my life that I'm going to work on time, barely. And I hate it. And it's just, for me, it has to do with, following somebody else's program. You go to work and you see how people live. It feels like it's high school all over again. And so it's they should be an adult, but they're not adults. They're just big kids in adult bodies, and they're just not there. Now, am I perfect? No, I'm not. But at the same time, y'all, I have never, girl, it takes a lot of energy for me to get out of the bed. You know what I mean? I be having those Sunday night anxiety, panic attack spills because I don't want to go to work. I don't like the going to work every morning, coming home sleepy, and then take a bath, go to bed, and wake up and have to do it all over. So it's we're living for the weekend. People think that going to work is just going to work. It's not. It's sociology and psychology dynamics in the workplace. Okay, now I excel in these things, but sometimes I just don't be wanting to be bothered. You know what I mean? I just want to like do my job and go home. But you know what? You can't do that because you have to play the game. And sometimes, y'all, I be tired of playing the game. I be bored. I be so bored because I'm beating everybody. Like, how many times I'm going to play this with y'all? Like, how many times we gonna keep doing this little tug of war thing? Like, I'm going to beat you. It's going, like, I'm done. I've learned. I've done everything that I needed to do. So for me, it's not about, oh, I hate my job. It's I hate the dynamics of the job. I hate the dance you have to do. I hate the fact that, you know, you go to work, you get paid, but we somehow, some way, they're assuming or pretending that we're not up here to get paid. And it's all this extras like emotional manipulation and you know what I'm saying? Like all of that, you know, guilt tripping and all. I don't like all of that. I don't like all them different strings and all those different plugs and different things of that nature. And then the other part is like, I don't particularly like feeling like I'm going to my job and I am losing a piece of myself. Like I have to give up my authenticity. I have to lie to myself to be here. And like, dang, I have to be a whole different person to be at these jobs. And I'm tired of having to play by other people's rules and do what other people want me to do. The other thing though is like leaving from job to job to job. I know that all of the jobs are the same. They all have different dynamics. So it's like, which set of dynamics do you want to deal with? Because there's something at every job. And even if you were a business owner, you would still have to deal with something. So it's like, there is no algorithm set where you could just go and everything is going to be smooth sailing. So that is something that I'm learning within myself, and that is helping me, because if we went from all these different jobs, like the issue must be internal, and we have to figure out how can we change the way we see things? How can we change and do, you know what I'm saying? Like we finna get into it right now. So the first thing that helped me as a mindset is to detach emotionally. I want to do a good job. I want to do the right thing. I want to show up in good light, not necessarily to control how people see me, but that is a part of it too. But I want to, like, I just want to be, I want to do a good job. Anything that I put my name on, I take pride in it. When you work in like education or like nursing or even social work, these types of jobs are already emotional. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with other people's emotions, and you're dealing with like kids and everything. Like, it's an emotional based job, right? So it's hard to detach emotionally because your job is going to ask for emotion. So you're doing emotional labor, but how much emotional labor can you actually do? Like, I don't have kids, so I can't identify with all of the things as it relates to having kids. All I know is your child is not performing, okay? Now, when I was in school, I wasn't taught to like my teacher. When I was in school, I did not have to like my teacher. The teacher did not have to like me. I did not like that. That is a new concept for me. It was a job. My mom told me, you're going to school for a job. You go in here, you do your work, they give you a grade. That is it. That is all. I never had to go and look for love or acceptance from the external world. So I don't identify with being in circumstances where people are depending on me to give them something that they should be getting at home. You see what I'm saying? It's a little hard to navigate those systems. It's like, do I care? Yeah, I care. But at the same time, it's like, I can't care more than you care. I can't want you to be successful more than you want to be successful. I can't want it for your child more than you want it for your child, because I don't have any kids. You see what I'm saying? And I can't sacrifice myself and my well-being for somebody else. So I have to detach and I have to remain strategic just so I can get out of the bed, get to work every day. Because if I am always pouring into other people and I'm never pouring into myself, then I will have nothing to give. I feel like the jobs, they are a chapter. They're not the entire identity. I think I work in an environment where everybody, right, makes their job their whole identity. And that is not what I believe. For me, it's like, this is what I do, but it's not necessarily all that I do. It's not the entire picture. It's a piece, a puzzle piece of the entire, ensemble, but it's not the whole thing. When I was doing my work week vlogs, you know, I enjoyed it. I was just testing it out. And then before long, it was easier for me to do than it was for me to be like this, talking to the camera and being vulnerable. Because you know that people like being a librarian, but at the same time, you don't know if people will necessarily like you as a person, because I know for me, my personality is definitely polarizing. So it's just kind of like, this is the first time I'm actually being like vulnerable with other people, you know, and just talking, like just being myself and not caring whether or not people like me. If people stay, they stay. If they don't, you know, it is what it is, but I don't have to hide, or I don't have to, you know, put on a mask to be something that I'm not necessarily. Another thing that helped me was looking into the baby boomers and the silent generation, because a lot of them are still working. And so when I encounter them in the field, I like to ask them questions and ask them, so, you know, why are you still working? And then why are you still doing this? Like, how are you able to keep waking up every day and getting to work and different things of that nature? Impart your wisdom into me, if you will. And they be like, girl, the job serve a purpose. Okay. As long as that check is going to get cleared, I don't care what they talking about. I seen them come. I seen them go. I'm like, what does that mean? Look, I done had about 10 principals. I'm like, what is that? They have seen leadership come and go, right? They done had 10 different bosses, but they done kept their job the whole time. So it don't matter what happened, they remain stable. They remain like, hey, this is what I do. I've been doing this thing for about 15, 20 years. Like, what you gonna tell me? I was teaching your mama. Like, what are you talking? Like, that's the energy that I get from the baby boomers and the silent. That's why I have so much respect for them. Cause I'm like, how are you doing this every day? Like, how do you, like, girl, I ain't gotta do it every day if I don't want to. It really inspires me, you know, because as soon as I see something that I don't like in a job, I'm dipping. I'm packing my stuff up. I'm ready to go. I'm out the door before you can even finish your sentence. I'm already at the other job, baby. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they let people come out of the bag. They argue. They do what they look. What you gonna do about it? They gonna show up the next day like nothing happened, and that it's just water under the bridge. Because at the end of the day, they make their jobs work for them, not the other way around. Your 9-to-5 can really be used to invest into your dreams. But the problem is we don't manage our money well. You know what I mean? Like, we're not using our money wisely. A lot of times people feel like you make just enough to get by. But the truth of the matter is sometimes we're living above our means. We don't always have to have the latest gadgets or the new bells and the whistles. Sometimes we have to make those sacrifices to get where we want to be. The job allows for you not to struggle. Like, some people are struggling artists and different things of that nature, and I have mad respect for that. But like, if you don't have to struggle, why struggle? That's something that my grandmother says all the time. You can take calculated risks if you're not living paycheck to paycheck. It's hard to do sometimes because when we are stressed out, we're always, you know, I need to buy something to make myself feel good. If we're always spending our money on convenience, then you might not have that startup money. So you have to reframe and shift the way that you're spending your money, if that makes sense. Girl, I'm on Uber Eats 1, period. Let me tell you, not even an ad, just saying. That's what I be spending my money on, because I did an audit, I did inventory. Like, so where is the money at? Where is it? Okay, that's where it's been going. It's been going. And so looking at the time, like after work, and just like, what are you doing with your time? How are you spending your money? All of that has to be redirected, but it can only be redirected if you know, one, it's a problem, and two, you have the energy and the discipline to do something about it. Use your job to gain those skills and then redirect those skills into your side hustle or your business or your passion project. For instance, I'm not gonna lie, my favorite part about being a librarian is the business side of it. So doing inventory, looking at data and seeing how the library can facilitate anything that we're needing, right? That's what I like to look at. Effective communication, like being a people person, comes naturally to me. People are always asking me for advice. People are always asking me for help. People are always asking, like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Girl, we're going to be starting a mentoring vibe. be on the lookout for that. Probably not now, but maybe in the summertime. But just redirecting the energy and just moving this here, moving that there. Like, I'm good at that. Strategic planning is one of my favorite things, being able to plan. I plan 3 to 4 to 5 months in advance. Like, if I put my mind to something, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to be successful. How can I take all of these things that I just listed and put that into a business? If I am able to make other people successful at work, or other people's side hustles and businesses successful, I can make my own business, my own vibe successful. I have the energy, I have the know-how, I have the expertise to really get out here and do some things. So how can we put that energy toward ourselves, right? Like, we're learning all of this here. That's great. Like, I learned a lot of great things from being a teacher, like being proactive instead of reactive, right? Like, if you do things before, like if you can anticipate something, then you work on the anticipation part, and so you don't have to deal with the back end stuff, right? Like, that's good stuff. Starting with the end in mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff they be talking about in professional development. How can you put that? Like, even the way that I do my yearly inventory, I got that from being a librarian, from being a teacher, your grows and your glows. And then having a growth mindset, going from, oh, I'm stuck and I'm stagnant and nothing is working out for me, but it will work out for me because all I have to do is X, Y, Z. And you know what I mean? And then add that spirituality part in there. Look, we can make some things happen. I think you can make some things happen if you reframe it. Use what they teach you, right? And use that for yourself. If you can use what's successful for them, who's to say that it's not going to be successful for you? Another thing is mastering my time. Mastering my time like a CEO. They have a full itinerary of everything that they're doing. They have a full log of all their time, because time, it doesn't matter. Time is the only resource that you is not going to get back. Once you spend your time doing one thing, you have now spent your time doing whatever that is, and you will not be getting that back. Time and the lack thereof is the great equalizer, because when your time is up, your time is up. So you get your 24 hours. What are you doing with your 24 hours? Now, I'm not gonna lie, they got assistants. They got all type of teams and things of that nature. So you have to start thinking like a CEO, like a business owner with billions and billions of dollars. Like, how can I put systems and procedures in place so that I can be successful? I have to run my business like I'm a CEO, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna have all of these different things in place, put something in position, put something in play, right? What can we do? It's not gonna be perfect right away, but once you start doing your inventory, logging that time and redirecting your energy, delegating, right? Delegate authority. Look, do we need to pay somebody for that? You know what I mean? Like, start thinking like the CEO that you already are, then I'm telling you, you will be successful. Make sure that you are completing some type of journaling project. Pros to your job, cons to your job. This helped me. What are some perks and what are the things that you don't like? I realized that my current job, like, I have a lot of good things that are going for me. I have good support. As much as I have people that get on my nerves, I definitely have support. And, you know, maybe I'm taking things too personally. You know what I mean? That's when we talk about detaching emotionally. Maybe I'm taking things too personally. Or maybe I'm the one that's not, you know, effectively communicating. Or maybe I'm expecting people to read my mind, because why would you make these types of choices? But everybody is not as well equipped. You know what I mean? And so reinforcements may be necessary. So just looking at things, you know, and then regulating my systems. Am I making decisions based off of past experiences? Automatically not giving people the benefit of the doubt because you look like the type of person to not act right. And so I'm just not going to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, practicing gratitude has helped me immensely, because yes, we have a job and some people don't have jobs, you know, but at the same time, I don't want to ever be complacent. I'm going to always want to strive for more, you know, and that's part of that impact statement that I had earlier. It's like, I want to strive for more. If I feel like there's nothing left, like I've hit this ceiling, I need to go somewhere else with a bigger ceiling. So journaling has helped me move into the next part, which is redefining success on my own terms. Like, for most people, you know, success would be having just that job, right? Getting paid every month and having enough money to meet their expenses. And that's it. They want to get married, they have kids, they have stable income. But for me, it's more about creating impact. It's about creating something that means something to myself, but to other people. And because I'm a perfectionist, I want something grandeur. You know what I mean? Like, success for me is different for other people, right? And so it's like finding that value within myself as well. It's like, if I am able to create wonderful things for other people, if I am able to impact people the way that I impact people just in this one job or all these other jobs, like, people don't know this, but every job I've ever had, if I left, people left with me. You know, that's the other part too. It's not just me leaving. I can take a whole department with me because I impact people on a personal level that much, where they feel like they can do more than what they're just doing. Like, they can do better than whatever it is that, girl, you can do better than that. Not saying that what you're doing is not enough, but sometimes, girl, you need that catalyst. You need that fire. You need that, you know what I'm saying? And we get stuck. We get stagnant, you know, waking up every day, doing the same thing every day. You know what I mean? And it's like, are you living? Are you reaching your goal? Like, what are you doing for yourself? Like, that really makes me happy. Like, that's what I spend my time at work. Yeah, I'm doing my job and everything like that, but girl, that's what I be doing. Taking inventory on things that, you know, it's not on the job description, but this is something that I do every day. And I like to do it. I enjoy it. And I would do it whether or not I'm not getting paid for this. So I'm already doing it without the check. So, you know, what are those things that really drive? What's a driving force for me? Another thing that really, really helped me, I would say the most, is surrounding myself with like-minded individuals. When you are working in jobs and all the people see is working the job, at least I have this, at least I have that, it could always be worse. You know, I'm not like trying to look down on anything, but it's just kind of like, when people are complacent and you're always around that, then you too become complacent. And there's something within myself that I am not complacent. I'm always rooting and wanting to do more, you know, and then somebody else is not that bad. It's bad for me. Like, I'm in a situation where I'm complaining about having ants in my job. Like, why do I have to tell you and explain to you that you should be spraying this facility on a routine basis, whether you see ants or not? But somebody's like, oh, well, at least you don't have rats. Ma'am, if you are okay with dealing with rats, then you are okay with dealing with rats. I'm not okay with ants. Okay, I'm not taking ants. So you know I'm not gonna take no rats. I'm not taking none of that. I'm not going for nothing. You might be able to go for it, but I can't go for nothing. You hear what I'm saying? Because I have a different level. Now, I'm not saying that my level is higher than yours, but what I'm saying is I'm not going for nothing. And so you have to surround yourself with people who are like that. When you are surrounded by people who will take what they can get, then you start. You know what I'm saying? And then also, you surround yourself with people who take what they can get and they're happy with whatever comes their way, you know, and you are not feeling that, then that will create tension naturally, because, well, she thinks she can't, she too bougie, she can't. No. You see what I'm saying? So you have to expand your horizons. You're going to lose people along the way because they're willing to settle. They're willing to do what everybody else, this is the way it's always been done. This is the norm, not the norm for me. And so it creates this natural tension. It's just inevitable at that point. And there's nothing you can really do about that, you know? So it's a whole dynamic. You have to surround yourself with people who believe the way that you believe. Not saying that the only people worth being around are the people who are like you, because I definitely believe that there is healthy discourse that can be had based off of different, you know what I'm saying, viewpoints. But girl, when it's time to get these jobs done, trying to get these goals met, you know, expectation, you gotta iron sharpens iron. You have to be around like-minded individuals. And then also, it's hard to try to I want to start a business, or I want to do something for myself, I want to lose weight, or whatever the case may be, around people who are okay with you being the way that you are, right? Because if you try to expand, then it sheds lights on their own insecurity. So you think you better than me, or you know what I'm saying? Like all this other stuff, all this insecurity, this angst all up in their chest with it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to keep that in mind. An entrepreneur will identify with you more than somebody that's working a 9-to-5, or maybe somebody that have a 9-to-5 and they're doing a side project. They will identify more with you than somebody that's just doing a 9-to-5 and they're just happy. They have their kids, they have their family. You see what I'm saying? Or even like somebody that's working and they have kids and you don't have kids. You're more likely to identify with people who don't have the children or don't have these different things. Like, you are more likely to bounce ideas and things like that off of people who are more aligned with the things that you're trying. So you have to link up. You have to, because sometimes it can be very like alienating, trying to start your own thing, but you're surrounded with people who don't get it. Sometimes community, you need that. You need community. You need like-minded individuals that are really going to push you forward and hold you accountable. But if people are always complacent, they can't hold you accountable. They can't do anything. They can't even see the vision for real like that, because y'all on different prescription plans. People can only give you advice or, you know, based on their own experiences. And a lot of times when you're at work, you know, they're going to give you the advice that is going to serve their purpose. If somebody needs you in that position, they're going to give you ideas and advice based on what they need from you in that particular moment. They're not going to give you I need you to go ahead and try something on your own. I need you to be in a leadership position. I need you to do this. They're not going to give that to you because they need you in that current position. They need you where you are because you're that good. But I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, that gratitude has been the most helpful eye opener. Not to the point like, oh, I'm so grateful that I have this job. No. I'm thankful that I'm able to use this job as a learning opportunity for myself. I'm able to learn more about myself and what makes me tick, things that I like, things that I don't like, things that were wrong with myself, but then also things that are just wrong with the system in whole. Working in education, there's something wrong with the whole thing. It's designed broken. Okay, so you can't fix it. It was designed that way. It's supposed to be like that. So if you have a problem like you think you're going to dismantle, you would have to dismantle the entire thing. Okay? So you can't do that. It's an uphill battle. So the mind shift that you would need is like, how can I shift gears, and instead of trying to change the whole thing, how can I make changes within myself and within my own circumstances so that I can be the person and have the opportunities that I want to have? And so you have to learn yourself. So what is it that I want? What feeds me? You know, but if you never have time to look within yourself because you're always, you know, on the external, looking at everything else and always detached and everything to other things. People got plugs and using your energy. You never have that time to sit still and look within yourself, figure out really what makes me tick, what makes me happy, what drives me, what exactly is my purpose, what am I good at. If you can never do the inventory, if you can never do the journaling process, if you can never really look yourself in the mirror and be like, what's going on? Tell me what I don't know. Then you could never get to the point where this is my passion project. It all starts with you. Girl, if you enjoyed this video, I have an entire playlist, okay, to help you on your journey. Go ahead and watch one of those videos and I will see you in the next one. Bye.